brine, we're ready to wipe it off. And the adhesion promoter, as you can see, just simply wipes off. No big effort, no pressure required. And I like to use 2 towels. First towel to get the majority, and then the second towel just to make sure that we've gotten everything. Sort of like leveling a coating.
Comes off easy.
Yeah. And we've left it here for what, about an hour?
Yeah. We had some lunch.
Yeah. The longer we leave it sit within reason, the better it is. It allows it to bond better to the paint below it, and it'll make the coating application even easier. So you're a long-time user of a damp pad and cleaning your pad after every pass. What did you think of not cleaning your pads and using a dry pad?
Reminded me of 5 years ago when I started.
Okay, yeah.
I was fighting the urge
To clean the pad, yeah.
to not clean the pad.
The pad washer was right there, whispering to you, clean me. Yeah, so the polish, or the primer, or however you want to look at it, adhesion promoter, doesn't dust. It can go on every surface. Now we purposely omitted the matte sticker on the hood. But the glass, the hard plastics, everything is fair game.
It was very easy to go on and come off.
Yeah, and you don't use a lot of it. It's really weird that when you're done, your pad is basically dry and clean. It doesn't load up the pad. It actually transfers to the paint.
So this is the prep.
This is the prep. We won't
No need to spray after.
No additional prep product necessary. And actually, you don't want any additional prep products after this.
Say you needed to do some heavier correction.
Yeah.
After you wipe that off, you can go right to this.
Correct, yeah. And right here, we'll have to polish a little bit again. This spoiler
The drips.
dripped out onto the primer. So how's that side?
One tiny little spot.
Okay. Yeah, whoever the engineer is that designed this and
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
they didn't win the competition that year for who would have the mirror that would drip the longest, and they said, screw it, we're gonna make the spoiler that drips the longest.
Yes.
There you go. All done. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So what is the need for this before the coating other than just a regular polish?
Well, it does a couple things for us. First of all, it's really doing a deep clean and prep of the surface. It's adding additional gloss, and it actually is an adhesion promoter for the coating. So it's leaving the surface, for lack of a better word, primed. It's like a primer. You know, if you paint on paint without putting a primer, it's not going to adhere as well. So it could be termed a primer polish, but it really has adhesion promoters in it that really prepare the surface for the coating. And it's just a better way of cleaning as well. So if you're dealing with a new car that doesn't need paint correction, you still want to polish it anyways.
Absolutely.
This is that polishing step, and you're eliminating the paint prep step at the same time. And through research and development, we found out that the little 3mm stroke DA sander was actually the best tool for the job. Which a lot of detailers are going, huh? You're using that?
Dry without washing in between.
Dry without washing, but but I've got this beautiful 21mm. I have this great rotary. What about those? Well, they're actually not. Even the rotary, which is my favorite, it's not the best tool for the job.
I found this oil packages that are in these polishes have a lot to do with how the pad cuts.
Yeah. And it's not going to stain trim. It's not going to do any funky things that we don't want it to do. So, because you polish the rocker panel here.
And the front spoiler.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing any difference.
No. No, the advantage of the short stroke DA like that is you get a relatively good cut, a little more than a rotary, but you don't get the long stroke, meaning you don't get the haze associated with a DA. Did you wipe off the back bumper yet?
I did not.
Okay, I'll head back there. I'll leave the front one to you. When we coat it, we'll leave the back bumper till last because there's still water coming out of the cracks.
So we're coating it tomorrow.
Pardon me?
So we're going to coat the rear bumper tomorrow.
No, we'll coat it today, but it's just to not contaminate the pad for the rest of the vehicle. At least the spoiler doesn't have any more water coming out of it.
Has this polish been tested with other coatings?
No, it hasn't.
Unless you can't say without confidence that it will work.
I can say with confidence it will work.
Okay.
But I've tested with the DIY coatings, obviously, but not any other brand of coating. But there's nothing in it that's going to interfere with any coatings bonding. It's just going to help any other coating. And it simplifies the process, and you can see the gloss that we've got on this.
It does. I've used other non-abrasive prep polishes, and I am amazed at how much they do amp up the gloss.
Yeah, now this one does have abrasives in it. It's just a very, very small amount of abrasives. And we just have that, need to prep that big sticker there. Now the reason we didn't polish this hood sticker, it's a $3,000 option on this. So we didn't want any way of screwing it up, just in case. So on the sticker, I'm actually going to use panel prep.
There's one little spot on the windshield. It almost feels like it's already coated.
Yeah, it does add a bit of slickness, and it makes the coating application a lot easier. Speaking of coating application, now's the time.
Sounds good.
Next step, obviously applying the coating. I'll start applying, you can start wiping, and then we'll switch at some point so you can get a feel for both. When we start, we take the applicator, about 10 drops or so, which is too much, but it's enough that we're going to prime the applicator pad. And I don't want to try priming the pad on the matte sticker. So I'm going to do it on the paint. And then just applying a circular motion. Now it's going on relatively thick because the pad isn't primed yet. Or not that it's not primed, but it's not evened out on the surface. So when you have runs like we have here, so you can actually see runs in it.
Okay.
That's a little too much, obviously. And I'm overlapping onto the next panels just to make sure that I've got everything coated and covered. And then you keep going until you start feeling a bit of drag and you're not leaving anything behind. You don't want to apply the coating too thickly. Thick is not your friend, because what happens when you put it on too thick is it actually can cause a high spot like 4 or 5 hours later. So you've leveled it, it looks perfect, and then you end up with a high spot because you had an overaccumulation of the coating, it's still evaporating, it's still cross-linking, and you end up with a reoccurring high spot. So like other coatings you've applied, you'll notice that it does the rainbow.
It is.
Rainbow look. Very important to coat the little cartoon character here. That's probably a very expensive emblem. But you can see once it starts going back, you hardly have anything to level.
Yeah, there's not much there.
Yeah. So one way of testing to see if you're ready is you take your towel and just do this and stop. And if you see the weave of the towel in the design, then that means it's still too wet.
Oh.
Because your towel should not be absorbing any coating, you should be just spreading it out. So here we see the weave pattern of the towel. So that tells me it's a little too early to level it. On the matte sticker though, we're going to apply and level immediately. So if you're ready, we'll get the matte part of the hood done.
I'm ready.
Okay. So just follow behind and we'll be good. Or you can level immediately. So it just adds darkness to it and not any gloss. Get in there for a second, just get up to the top. It's fine to overlap, it's not gonna create any weird high spots or anything.
It's richened it up.
Yeah. Now the rest of the car, it's not a matte sticker, it's actually just plastic. So the leveling is a lot easier than on this. So at this point, you're pretty much ready to level that front fender. And your towel should stay dry throughout the whole application process. So does Mr. 170 there have a name?
I don't know. Should we give him one?
We'll have to Google that one. Or if you know the name, let us know in the comments.
I don't know if there's an official name.
Yeah.
But if you're drinking 170 proof, I think we should call him Al.
Owl?
For alcoholic.
Oh, owl. Okay. I was thinking owl as an ouch.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, you drink too much moonshine.
So I did the A pillar and then just working my way across the roof.
Have not gotten down to the trim.
Pardon me?
The trim.
I'll do that last.
It's just like a lot of coatings where it's going to look better the next day.
Definitely. So as you can feel as you're wiping it off, it's already slick.
It is. I know a lot of coatings get grabby.
Yeah.
This one is definitely slick.
I'm not a fan of grabby because I want the application process to be as simple and as easy as possible. So all the way around the window and down to the body line as well.
Need to be 6 inches taller.
Want me to reach there? Oh, you got it.
These roofs are just very wide.
A little wide, a little tall.
Did you get the shark fin?
Yeah. So under the little bit under the spoiler here as well.
Say this is easier than the average professional level coating.
I hope so. Easier than the average, but if you leave a high spot, you'll be swearing more than your average coating. The polysiloxane mixed with the detonated nanodiamonds, once that sets up, there's no going back. So the whole trunk lid is done. I'm going to quickly do the spoiler. You can wipe the spoiler off first because of the matte aspect of it. So any time you're doing a matte surface, you want to level it sooner than later. Same thing with glass, because glass is a little different substrate.
Leading edge.
The application is rather forgiving in the sense
is.
that, we're not in a rush to level it. We'll just lift it up and I'll do the little underside there on these, because that's always a spot that gets missed. Yeah. Yeah, so we still have the oil slick on water look there. So the designers of this car really thought about coating application because there's very easily defined body lines.
Yes.
There isn't this sort of half transition between one plane and another. It's a nice hard line. Makes our lives easier.
It does. So in a market where there's no shortage of coatings,
Right.
where did you see the need for C6?
I saw a need, couple of reasons. For the entrepreneur. So this is a coating they can confidently sell to the customer, knowing the technology, the science behind it, but also the need to have something that's going to basically last as long as the car. The other thing is, this is definitely destined to the entrepreneur detailer, as opposed to the detailer that is in it for the glory and the accolades. This is something that the customer will love. This is something that the coating itself provides for the entrepreneur: quick turnaround time, ease of application, So 1 hour after this is on the car, the customer can drive out and do burnouts in the rain if they want to. Not that he will, but they could if
The
they want.
burnout part, yes. The
Yeah.
rain part, probably not.
No, no. So that's what really differentiates the coating that way. As far as the technology, the mix of the polysilazane, SiO2, silicon carbide, silicon nitride, and the detonated nanodiamonds makes it so that it's one of the highest technology coatings on the market. And the self-cleaning ability of this coating is off the charts. And the hydrophobics. So tomorrow you'll be able to throw some water at it, or actually later this afternoon if you want to. But once it's had like a good 24 hours to cure, that's when the hydrophobics are starting to be at their best. It takes actually a week, like most good coatings, to be properly cured. But in 1 hour it can get wet. You can do whatever you want with it other than wash it, because surfactants are the reason every coating says don't wash it for 24 hours. Or don't wash it for a week, I should say.
Correct. And you have two coatings. This is
Right. So this is the hydro, which is the most hydrophobic coating, and then we have the diamond shine coating, which is destined to be even, so it's glossier than this one, if that's at all possible, but it is just a slight tick in gloss better, and the self-cleaning ability of that one is even better than this one.
So let me ask the obvious.
Why two?
Why couldn't you just put both aspects in one coating?
It's a combination of the way they're made. So they're both down to there. They both use reactive blending. And by reactive blending, I could actually give you all the ingredients pre-measured out to make the coating, and you still wouldn't have the same product. And coating is always a trade-off. If you want more gloss, you actually lose a little bit on hydrophobics. If you want the best in hydrophobics, you lose a little bit on the self-cleaning and gloss ability. Mm-hmm. So that's why we have both. It's up to the customer to decide what they want in terms of what's the characteristic that is most interesting to me. And I redid the shark fin a second time just to make sure I got all aspects of it.
So the next question everybody asks.
Yeah.
Can you layer it?
You can. You shouldn't. There's no need to layer it. So the whole goal of this is, as an entrepreneur, you want to be able to give the customer back their vehicle as soon as possible, so it's not taking up space in your shop, and you don't have the liability of having a $150,000 car sitting in your shop, or a $500,000 car, or whatever. The customer also, they want their car back as soon as they can get it. So yes, you can layer it. If you want to, you have to wait at least 2 hours, but no longer than 8 hours.
How many lifetime coatings do you want to put on?
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to. In testing, we've done layering, and the gains are so minimal that it's not worth the effort of doing it. Now, you see I'm using circular motions. And the reason I prefer circular motions is simple. There's less chance of high spots. You get a much more even coverage over the whole surface. And it's easier on your body.
Cool.
Yeah. So you can see I had a little too much on the applicator. And the applicator really does deposit back onto the surface basically all the coating that you put on it. It's not holding it in there.
Yeah, the old days with the suede blocks.
Yeah.
They were a pain in the ass. I never liked them.
Yeah, exactly.
Get it on the paint, as you say.
Yeah, exactly. The instructions should be simple for any coating. Get it on the paint, level it, enjoy. Maintenance afterwards, after that initial week, it's a ceramic coating, meaning it's tougher than the paint, it's more chemical resistant than the paint, it's easier to clean than the paint, so you can use anything you want to maintain it. Ideally, it should be DIY detail products, but,
Of course.
So the front fender is done. We already did that in the beginning. So now we have the sides and the bumpers to do. I'll trade you applicator for towels, and
Okay.
you can get your hand at applying it. So this side, we're about 15 minutes in since we applied it. And if you feel it with the towel, you'll see that it's even slicker than the side that you just applied.
Yeah. It's nice.
I've already put the product on there. So basically you keep going till you don't leave a trail behind you, or you'll feel the applicator get, not grabby, but a little more resistance in the application. And again, if you want to do straight lines, if you want to do triangles, if you want to do cross hatching, squares, whatever you can, but to me the circle is the best.
Seems to even it out the best.
Yeah.
It does go pretty far.
Yeah, that was 2 drops on the pad, so. Just like the adhesion promoter will leave the glass till last, because the applicator does hold a little bit in it. So by leaving the glass till last, that's more than enough. By leaving the glass till last, you can put a little bit of pressure on the applicator and basically squeeze out anything that can be in the cells.
On a lot of cars, it's easier to see it going on the glass as well.
Now I also like to do the underside of the handle, so when the customer grabs that, they feel the slickness every time. So temperature in here is about 65, I would say.
66 degrees and 37% humidity.
There we go. So like any coating, especially polysiloxane coatings, the higher the humidity, the faster it's going to set up. 37% humidity is nice. 70 degrees would be better, but it's cold outside, so. And this is a big, lofty building. Your ceiling height is what, about 28 feet in here?
25.
25, yeah. So.
Which is about 10 more than I need.
Yeah. Not bad in summer, but in the winter, it's not a fun thing because all the heat's rising up to the top.
Yeah. The fans actually make it hotter in here in the summertime.
Yeah, because they're driving the heat back
blow
down.
all the heat down.
Yeah.
So some coatings with high humidity get a little haziness, ghosting to them.
Yep.
Is that to be expected with this coating as well?
Very minimally, like you have to have really high humidity and have put it on too thick. But if that does happen, let it sit for an hour or two, come back and wipe, that haze will go away. And a lot of that haze actually isn't from the coating, it's from improper prep. And by improper prep, it's you used a polish that has too many solvents in it, and your prep product isn't attacking those solvents, but the coating is. So the coating is actually floating those solvents to the top. That's where you get the haze.
Ah. But eventually the solvents evaporate out.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't get too far ahead of you, did I?
No, it's good.
Application okay?
Beautiful.
I mean,
hardly any, no high spots at all for that matter.
I've done one or two.
Yeah. Good overlap. One thing I always want people to do is overlap from one panel to the next to make sure you're getting all the gaps and seams. And when I'm wiping off, I'm doing the same thing. I'm overlapping, like we went up here, so I'm making sure to wipe past where we were.
I don't know why people are sometimes afraid to go all the way to, or even past where they left off.
Having worked with some other coatings, if you do that, it's a mess. It's like trying to, if you ever used contact cement, and it's sort of half cured, and then you go to put more contact cement on, it's just a rubbery mess.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Saving the rear? Saving the rear bumper?
Yeah, we'll leave the rear bumper till the end and the front bumper because of the potential drips.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll go to the other side. Did you do the side of the bumper here?
I did not.
Okay. So you stopped here.
Right at the body line.
Okay. So we'll just wipe past it and then we're good. Look at that shine.
I was just gonna say, if it looks this good now,
yeah,
tomorrow should be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know, that just looks and feels so cheap.
It does.
Just the top corner there. Open it up again and you can see the, right in that seam.
So what do you find more common? People using too much product or too little product?
No, too much. You can't really use too little, and that's something that a lot of people don't understand. Like, that's way too much.
Yeah. I'll go get it on to the next.
Yeah.
The hole's a little big.
Yeah, it is. But that's the only size they make that fits the aluminum bottles. Because we use an aluminum bottle instead of a glass bottle, so if you drop it, it's...
You're going to spill more, but it won't break.
You're not crying, yeah. They'll make us another insert, but we have to order 20,000 of them. So until the production is ramped up to that, because it's the same insert as same bottle as the DIY coatings. But we're not at 20,000 yet, so. Oh, you got more than enough.
I didn't get any out.
Pardon me?
There wasn't any out, but I'm still spreading, so.
Yeah. And the ones that do our coatings, they're really, really specialized, to say the least. So like I was mentioning before, we do reactive blending. So reactive blending, to make a batch of this, takes 2 weeks. But the reason it takes 2 weeks is they're not just throwing all the ingredients together in a hopper and mixing. It's, you know, the first ingredient goes in with the second ingredient, they mix for a certain amount of time at a certain temperature. Then the next ingredient goes in, they have to modify the temperature to do it. The third ingredient goes in, now they have to add pressure as well. So it's in a pressurized vessel at a certain temperature, mixed for a certain amount of time. So like I said, I can literally give you all the ingredients pre-measured, and you still wouldn't have a coating at the end of it. You'd have a sort of a goopy mess.
It's probably where a lot of the cost factors come in too, because
Yeah,
that's a lot of labor to go through.
it's a lot of labor and a lot of potential for error. So it doesn't take much to screw up a batch. And if you screw up a batch, you're not starting over, you're throwing it in the garbage.
Yeah, we're not talking about a batch of 10 of these. You're probably making 1,000 bottles.
No, a batch is actually 100. So it's a very small batch. If we come to a point where we're, you know, selling that much of it, then yeah, we'll have to invest in bigger mixing abilities. But for right now, it's 100 balls at a time. So application's not too hard.
No, it's actually on the easier side of things. Dare I say, consumer grade? Like?
Yeah, and that's the goal. We wanted a coating that was as easy to install as any consumer grade coating. Like I said, if we leave a high spot, that's when the professionalism comes in. So a lot of consumer grade coatings, if you leave a high spot the next day, you can sort of wipe them off, or, you know, add a little more coating and you're good. Or at worst, take a, you know, bit of polish on a microfiber towel and level the high spot. That's not the case with this. You're basically you're polishing that panel.
You're doing a whole panel.
You're doing the whole panel.
Yeah.
So God forbid you do it on a roof.
If you do it on a roof, hopefully it's on a truck.
Pardon me?
Hopefully it's on a truck.
Yeah. Or it's, you know, just they have the lines like this one where you can.
Yeah.
Have you done any of the front bumper yet, or?
I have not.
Okay, so I'm caught up.
So what's your approach to front ends? Start from the inside out, top down, doesn't matter.
I start at one corner and just work my way around.
Okay.
So to make it easier, so you're used to working alone?
I am.
When you're working with someone, it's easier to, like a door, you know, start at one edge of the door, instead of working top down, work left to right. So the person leveling is doing the same motion as you are. So as an example, if you start here and work your way around, going up and down.
I don't have to go back.
Yeah, you don't have to go back over where you've been.
Yeah. All right. So save this chin spoiler.
Oh, you can do it right now. And you missed just a little corner here. Yep, good.
So can this coating be sprayed for like grills and such?
Yes and no. It can, but should you? Never. So coatings are fluorinated. Now we have very little fluorination in this, but that fluorination is extremely hard on your liver. And people that spray coatings, I see them all the time. They're wearing like a little 3M mask. They're wearing gloves, but they have their short, you know, their sleeves rolled up. Your skin absorbs it much more than your lungs do. And that absorption is very bad for you. So unless you're in a booth and unless you're wearing a fully ventilated external air source mask, etc., then no, never spray a coating. And I don't care what brand of coating it is, just don't spray coatings. Something like that grill, the easiest thing is a week later when you do the first maintenance wash for the customer, when you're doing that, spray a bit of quick beads on that intricate honeycomb grill, or if the customer didn't opt to have the wheels done, while you're there, spray the quick beads on the wheels, and that's gonna give them a good 6 months of protection. And every time they wash it, you sell them a little bottle of quick beads and say, every time you wash it, throw a bit of this on the grill and on the wheels, and they'll be good forever.
Not spraying this stuff should seem like common knowledge to people. I mean,
Yeah.
You smell it, and
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on with a coating, and none of them should be going on you. I've seen some people apply coating without wearing gloves, and I just want to reach through the screen and put gloves on them. It's like, it's very toxic for your body.
you're
Breathing,
contaminating the surface.
yeah, breathing what we're doing now is not a problem. The fumes off of it are not an issue. It's the actual coating itself. And when you're spraying, you're not only getting the little bit of fumes, and I don't know if you even smelled the coating coming off the car.
Faintly.
Yeah, but it's the actual coating itself getting on you. So the off-gassing of the solvent, that's one thing, but actually getting coating on you is another thing.
I can see that.
You did the chin spoiler?
I have not.
Okay.
Save that for the sides and stuff.
Yeah, okay. Now I mentioned high spots. If you do get a high spot, after we're done this, we'll go back around and look at all the, look everywhere, especially where there's potential high spots. If we do find one, we can get it with the applicator within about half an hour. After that, game over. Maybe an hour, because your humidity is fairly low in here. But
So if you're doing this by yourself, be a little more diligent.
yeah, be very diligent. And speaking of high spots, one thing I always like to do when we had our shop was I purposely would leave a high spot on the car. Right here.
Okay.
So center of the front bumper, so I knew where it was, and underneath where no one could ever see it. The reason for that is customer awareness. If the customer ever comes back and says, this coating is gone, I can point at that high spot and say, there's a high spot here. If the high spot is still here, that means the coating is still there on the rest of the car. Now, if we can get rid of the high spot easily, that means the coating isn't attached to the vehicle.
Mm.
And having it under here where it's hidden, no one will ever see it. It's just you that knows where it is. So it was standard operating procedure in our shop to purposely leave a high spot under the front bumper.
And you'd have to put it in an exposed area. You couldn't do it like behind the rear license plate.
No, exactly, yeah.
I wouldn't see any weather.
Right. Did you do the grill surround and the headlights?
I did.
Okay. Are the headlights in the brake intake actually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're brake or air, or they were air intakes on the older ones.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they still are because it's got the hood screw.
Yeah. To me, it would be logical to have them as brake cooling intakes.
It would.
But not, again, this isn't a track car, so. It's not designed for it's designed for a quarter-mile straight track. No corners involved.
Well, if you do that, they'll kick you out because it doesn't have a roll cage.
Yeah. Oh, it's faster than 13. Okay, yeah, so it needs a roll cage to go down a drag strip.
Yep, most drag strips will not let you run these.
I'm sure there's a factory roll cage option.
There is a factory parachute option.
Factory parachute option.
Yes.
Cool.
Rear or
Pardon me?
Do the rear bumper? Or?
Yeah. But if you're gonna do that little piece, why even bother?
I know. Rear bumper?
Yep. Just maybe have a towel with you that if it's just that black piece above the bumper that drips.
I think we're good.
Did you do the black plastic at the bottom? Or?
I did not.
Okay. Might as well as you're going across, and then we'll be done.
I did get up.
Pardon me?
Top here.
Yeah.
Over there.
So Ryan, what are your impressions?
Very nice. I'd say better than I was expecting.
Okay. Simple to install, easy,
Absolutely.
immediately glossy, immediately slick.
Yeah. Can't
Yeah.
wait to see it tomorrow.
Yeah, now we just have to go around, do an insurance wipe, make sure that we don't have any high spots. When we're guaranteed that there's no high spots, then we can take the applicator and our towels, put them in a vat or a bucket of rinseless wash, let them sit for a while. The surfactants in the rinseless will make sure that the coating doesn't cross-link, and then we can reuse this if we want to.
Sounds good.
If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, or ideas, please leave them below. And you can reach Ryan at Durglands Auto Spa. The link will also be below. See you in the next one.
Thank you.